that the food bank can actually give out things like spinach and strawberries.
Oh Thank you.
And the V8 was wonderful too.
Yeah, it's good.
But I mean, like if that wasn't there, we could be full on pasta and bread and whatnot. But losing the ability to think. Oh man, I think that's actually one of the reasons why I've been doing better. I've managed to get some Ichiban noodles with just the last little bit of my food budget.
Yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if the salt is making it better. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but what we've been given really does not have a lot of salt in it. And
that's true.
I don't know if that, I'm not like a nutritionist and whatnot, but as far as I understand, your brain needs a lot of salt to actually work effectively, right?
I'm actually not too sure about that.
Okay,
we'll look that up.
Well, anyway, we'll look that up, and okay, let's assume that's wrong, and it's just the energy thing and vitamin thing again.
Yeah.
There's just not enough to function properly. I can't imagine doing my job effectively at all on that diet, and I can't even imagine what somebody doing physical labor would have to go through.
Yeah. I was like as I said earlier in a video, I was doing some workouts and I honestly almost passed out. It wasn't anything strenuous. I just did some squats and all of a sudden the room started spinning a bit and I was like, whoa, I gotta stop. And good thing Vernon was with me, because in case something did happen or I dropped a weight and it landed somewhere, I could have done some damage. Or even we do the stair workout where we do a bunch of jumps and stuff, and I couldn't my legs were saying no more. But the biggest thing was my brain. It was just starting to it just felt like everything was shifting and warping around me, and all of a sudden my breathing started getting a little off kilter. It was, it's a weird thing to feel, and it's because of I can't say it's all because of nutrition, but I feel like a big chunk of it is because of that, because I don't normally feel like that.
Yeah, I can totally relate. When I run out of food, I crash. And on Friday evening, I had supper, and then I started going down, and then it was Matt's birthday. I'm going to go out and see this guy. I eat a bunch of my bread ration, so I'm up to par. Yeah. And at about midnight, I just drop right off. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking home, and I am just stumbling. Well, not stumbling, but I feel perpetually dizzy, and it's hard to get home, and it's just I couldn't think, and I was tired. I've had this before during school when I've been so stressed, when I've had to do so much work that I just couldn't eat properly. But yeah. This was a little bit more intense. It was just disorienting, kind of like waking up after a really strange flu and not really knowing where you are. Almost.
Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate. That's actually pretty accurate. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, and even my roommate, she was asking me it's are you sad or mad? I'm like, no. No, I'm just hungry and tired. You're getting that confused. It's did I do anything? No, I'm just really hungry.
Yeah, I actually, a friend of mine told me that too. She's like, are you upset with me? Did I do something wrong? I'm like, no, I swear. It's just I haven't had anything to eat. I'm crashing right now. I'm going to go home. Yeah. You're okay, don't worry. I'm just going to go home. I'm going to eat something. I'm going to feel good. And
now that the finish line is in sight, what do you think?
Oh, I'm pretty happy. I'm honestly, I'm just looking forward to going by and buying some fresh stuff so I can actually cook. I miss cooking a lot. Yeah. And I'm just really excited to have variety again.
That's
not
key.
Being able to go get something when I'm just tired of eating sandwiches with mustard every day. Yeah. Which, by the way, I've started to enjoy mustard a whole lot more.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of mustard, but Dijon mustard, I'm starting to have a real... It's like an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Like a fine wine. Mustard, of all things.
That's something that's been bugging me too. I have this half-open bottle of wine sitting in my cupboard. And it's just sitting there, and I want some of it, just for a drink in the evening.
Don't worry, it's just getting more aged, that's all.
I suppose so.
So...
almost done.
Well, it is almost done. And I feel like we've done a great job, at least for what I expect. I thought I was going to starve to death and just be a complete mess, and I almost got there. As I said, I hit a few breaking points, but it's just, as I said, it just baffles me that this is more than just a week for some people. Like, there is no finish line for some people,
and a lot of
I just
times,
really, because I just want to help them now. It's crazy, but go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say the finish line for some people keeps getting further away because, like, you know, think about us. Like, we had some of our bread going moldy, or the buns going moldy, or the fruit going moldy, or breaking down to the point where you can't eat it anymore.
Yeah.
And to think that, you know, some people, you know, think maybe they start doing better and they're able to go buy groceries, and then suddenly their food just goes bad on them. It's like you go back to square one where you're feeling awful, you have nothing to eat, you have even less than you had before.
Yeah.
Because you simply have nothing. And like,
It seems
it's sort of like, it's one of the, you know, to not overuse the phrase, or I guess it's a feedback loop, right? I mean, you have no food, which gives you no energy, which means you do terribly at your job. And I would do terribly at my job. The potential you get fired, or you get less money or less hours, and therefore you have less food. And it's like this weird, terrible cycle where everything keeps feeding back.
Cycle,
Yeah, it seems like whatever rut people are in, they would just sort of stay in there because of their food situation. It'd be hard to get out of it.
Because, like, at school, like, doing a full day of school, full day. And, anyways, yeah, it's just like, I can't even function properly. Like, if I had to go through with this, my marks would just plummet, and I would just be this cranky guy in the corner of the classroom the whole time. And it's food.
Yeah.
It's food.
I'm really happy that some schools are instituting like a breakfast program or a lunch program to help get kids back on track. Because, like, if our experience is the typical experience for kids that come from, you know, less fortunate households, that's totally understandable why they can't function in school. And, like, I just hope that the government is supporting programs like that. Like,
little Jimmy's not a brat. He's hungry. Give him some food.
It's like he's malnourished. He's been going on macaroni for like the last week. Do you really expect?
It's more than just ADHD. Just give him some freaking food.
Yeah,
like a granola bar, anything. It's just like,
obviously there are other problems. For a lot of people, but
some of this food.
I imagine that's a big issue.
But all I can say is that I'm grateful that we have survived.
Yeah.
And that it is almost over, and that we could go on with our lives being better people, hopefully, and just throwing out the word of the food bank and just helping others in need, because it's a real thing.
I think the awareness thing is the most important, because it's not a tangible thing for a lot of people. Like, you know, it's very clear in a lot of neighborhoods in Saskatoon, people separate themselves from the problem and therefore can, you know, throw out the stereotypes or just say, you know, it's not my issue, someone else can take care of that.
Exactly.
You know, over in Lakeview, it was not clear that anybody was really going through this, and especially like over in Briarwood, where
no idea.
They would never see this, but, like, you know, having to live in some of the less fortunate areas of Saskatoon, it's a serious issue.
Yeah,
and it just I assume it would just compound every other problem there, and to show people is like, hey, you know, people like you have to go through this and have gone through this, and you know that their marks are good, and you know that they do well, and you know that they have lots of friends, and they work out, and they're really good, genuinely fun people to be around. And after a couple days of having no food, they're a bunch of dicks. They're a bunch of dicks. You know, just sacks of dicks wiggling around, and people don't want to be near them or touch them, and they smell gross.
Yeah, well,
maybe not smell gross, but, you know,
I kept with the hygiene at least. I kept with the hygiene portion.
Same here. But it's like, you know, then it's more tangible. It's like, you know, our friends and the people who are in our same situation are going through that, and that's what happens to them. Holy crap, what must other people be going
and they're
through?
real people. Like, they're actual people who have wants, needs, and have love, you know, like, have families, hopefully, and it's just, this is a real thing.
It is a real thing and a pretty serious problem, so I hope the right people see this so they can do something about it, and, you know, if we're lucky, we can do something about it in the future.
Hopefully.
You know, even like a weekly donation when we go out to buy groceries. I mean, that's
something,
a little bit better than doing nothing.
Or, you know, just, I don't know, just throwing it out there that this exists and that...
Isn't there like a Halloween food bank thing coming up where you go around collecting like food from people?
We could take the Nyan Cat out and collect food. That could be a lot of fun.
Oh God, what have I done?
Everybody under the
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, everybody under the Nyan Dragon could just carry a sack.
Yeah.
We just go around with this giant 12-foot long cat and just.
And don't give just pasta.
Yeah.
Like more than like, I'm noticing that it's mostly the same food. I know the food bank's trying very hard, but some people just keep on giving the same box of like pasta over and over again. So it's like, whatever, it won't go bad.
That's not necessarily a bad thing because it preserves very well. So I mean, like,
but variety. There needs to be variety, and people aren't aware of that. It's like people are like, oh yeah, that's food, whatever. It's like, no, it's not just food. It's life. You know?
Yeah, like if you only give away what you don't want, then how do you think other people are going to feel when all they get is that?
Yeah, like.
I think I'm gonna buy like
another one's trash is another one's treasure. Only goes so far, you know.
Yeah.
It's more than just that.
Yeah, you can only find so many pairs of shoes in the dump before you're like, you know, maybe I would like something else. Someone else should throw out a nice treasure of some other kind.
Yeah.
I don't know why my example was that was.